All right. Welcome, everybody. So they put that to full Matthew McConaughey there. All right. How are you all? Welcome to the Bookshelf Lunchtime Live. I think this is our fourth one on the trot. I said we'd do it once. Okay, that didn't work out so well. Tom doesn't leave. It's a very small studio. Tom is essentially the Tom, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. He stays here, and occasionally he's let out. Aidan, all right over there?
All right.
Aidan was watching a film the other day, a really interesting history film, and he saw somebody in the film that looked quite like me. Isn't that right? And he just said, he looks like you. I can't say the name of the film or the character in the film because we'd be arrested. Now, let's move on to some of the different things we want to talk about. Well, we've loads to talk about today, all right? And we want to get you involved. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you're listening on Insta or watching on Insta, welcome. And you may be tuning in later on after we've done this event. We go live around 1 o'clock on a Tuesday with this show. That is kind of starting to cover more than just books at these days. It's what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm watching. So I want to say I hope it's we as well. So I'd love to get your thoughts on the different things. So coming up in the next little while, I will talk about, I'm going to give you recommendations for 3 nautical but nice books that you might like. They're very, no, but I don't know, that was terrible, but come on. I have really got into this whole world of kind of 17th to 18th century seafaring. Don't ask me how. I don't sail. I don't know anything about boats. But I do love history. And for some reason, as we are an island nation here in Ireland, it sings to me. So I'll come back to you on all of that. I also said I'd talk to you about a documentary which I was watching called Breakdown 1975, which is on Netflix and is amazing. And finally, I want to talk about Seven Dials, which is the Agatha Christie program that was released on Netflix recently. It's in 3 parts. God help us. That didn't work out. I'll talk to you about that in a little while. They just didn't get it right. Now, last week we asked you a little bit. I was telling you about books that were reflected the madness of the world that we live in today. Got madder last week, as it does on a weekly basis, and that was the 12 Caesars by Suetonius and American Caesars by Mr. Hamilton, which I mentioned before. So there's some nice responses. I always like to try and hold on to some of your responses to the Insta posts that we have on Insta Tuberty. Siobhan says, love the recommendations and your connection to our current world. Nothing changes is so true. Was laughing at mention of your man, that being the President of the United States. I don't use his name either, yet I don't use such polite words as you. Anyway, you're loving the bookshelf as well. Now, just to let you know, somebody was asking any more bookshelf as we know them interviews coming up. Not only do we have a new season coming up, but we have really, really big names being lined up for season 5. There is talk, I mentioned earlier on as well, of the Bookshelf Live. Would you like to come and see us live in the Pavilion Theatre in Dublin? Yes, you would. So we're actually going to announce that today, which is exciting. I've never done that before. This is going to be great. So we'd love you to come and join us, and we'll do it all in real life. Ange is in Chicago. I was in Chicago once. I went to see One Direction in Soldiers Field because I was interviewing Niall Horan beforehand. So we went over and we went into his dressing room. And he had a big box of Ireland, essentially. So there was a jersey, there was a flag, a few Guinness, some Tato. And he just went, that was his home, because he's a real home bird, Mullingar. He worked in Supermax in Mullingar. That was his thing, initially. Anyway, he's one of the nicest people you could meet in the business. Then we went out, we sat in 3 rows from the front and watched him. Like, having gone from, this is the box. Then he goes up to all these people screaming. It was wild. Chicago, loved Chicago. It was too brief a trip there. So I hope you're having fun over there. What are you doing over in Chicago? What are you working at? Let me know. I'd love to know. Elsewhere, G. Nash says, Meditations of Marcus Aurelius became big again recently. And I did buy it, but I didn't read it. So I might give a nudge into that as well. Mary says, I would have The Reader by Bernard Schlink on my list for these. I think this was short novels we were talking about. The novel and the film. Oh, no, it was films and novels. You're right. Are both brilliant and relevant in these troubling times. Remains of the Day, which I've got to mention on every live podcast since we've started. Poignant, powerful and tragic. Another says, always thought the book is better than the film, but Remains of the Day. There it is again. Brilliant film. Book was very disappointing. I thought the book was only okay, and I thought the film is one of my favourites. Anyway, Sorka says, you need to read The Life of Chuck by Stephen King, also a movie on Netflix. Now, I think that might be one of the most boring films I've ever seen in my whole life. Is that the one? No, do you know what I'm talking about, Tom? The Life of Chuck. Can I seriously, what's the opposite of recommend? Can I seriously suggest that you maybe watch something else? Give it 10 minutes And if you're still awake, keep going. And that's your bag. But is it sorry, Tom Hiddleston? Is that's the one? Life for I don't know what that. I still don't know what it's about. Now that could be my brain. There's no reflection on you. Sometimes I'll be watching a thing. I get great value for money watching films. This is the thing, because I never know what's going to happen. Now I could watch a film with my daughter, one of my daughters, and they'll say, jeez, like we all know it's your man. I said, don't stop. What? Him? I thought he was good. And they're going, are you thick? I said, a little bit. But I get value, you see. So that by the time they go, and the murderer was him, I go, no. And everyone else is going, well, I'm going for a cup of coffee. And we knew that 2 days ago. So, I can be wrong on these things. So if you liked Life with Chuck, good on you, and I didn't. That's just the way it is. Ryan, if you haven't read new crime fiction Irish author Joseph Birchall's detective series In Plain Sight, check it out. Second book in the series coming out this spring. It's called Reported Missing. Thank you, Patricia Gibney, who we know and love. We must get Patricia on the show at some stage. She's a great story. Mullingar, wonderful person, and one of the greatest writers that no one ever heard of apart from the internet. And then they started publishing them in hard copy. She's great. Anyway, if you like your Irish crime writing, get Patricia Gibney books. They're just terrific. Sinead says, a big question about the 50-page rule. Oh, yeah. How does this transcribe to Kindle? I don't know. I don't read Kindle. I can't. What you know in Kindle, you have read 20%. No, but you know what? I like a bookmark. Which, no, the Kindle is like an 80s robot, and it says you have. No, but that's what the Kindle is. So I have a bookmark. So it's like, whereas the Kindle says, I'm afraid you have only read 7.7% of your book. So that's fine. So whatever the 50 pages, that's about what? Would you say? Give me a percent. Let's say the average book is. Tom, you look mathematically tuned in. Let's say the average book is 350 pages. What's 50 pages? What's that as a percentage?
Well, is it a minute to read a page?
Just give me a percentage. 20%. So when you get to 20%, if you're not enjoying the book in Kindle, we've just answered that woman's question. That woman being Eileen. Oh no, it's not Eileen, Sinead. Sinead, there you go. Now, there you go, 20%. That's it. So as soon as you get that, you're in business. I love that. Okay. As you get to 20, they should even have a thing that when you get to 20%, go, how's it going for you? Are you still engaged? Not really. Okay. Okay, Bookbot. I know, yeah, I'm Bookbot. Okay, then. I can't do it. Put me down. Move on to another one. That's okay. So Bookbot is there for you. I think I've just come up with the new thing. Lads, what's in the coffee today, eh? Okay, let's keep going. Loads of messages coming in. Keep them coming. It's great. I'm never going to eat this, am I? Kimberly my cat. Oh, and coconut. No, but I do love. This is the elite. This is how the elite live. They eat these biscuits. What is it? It's like it's a Kimberly with a bit of like a tea cake in it. Isn't that it? I don't. They're damn good. I like them. Now, I just have. Can I deviate completely from everything? I have a small bee in my bonnet about people using the word super in front of things. It kind of drives me mad. And I think I know I'm out on my own on this one, but it feels very juvenile. And when I see a journalist, like a real serious journalist going, I think Vladimir Putin was super annoyed with Donald Trump. I go, all right, Valley girl, like what, how can you, or Valley boy, it's not a gender thing. It's just a case of going super. I see a grown man saying, I'm super excited to go to see the match. I say, whew, I know I'm wrong. Okay, I accept I'm wrong. It's just that the good Lord and the dictionary gods gave us very, totally, completely, extreme, lovely words, beautiful words, great words, but but they're beautiful words. And suddenly this reductive word, super, which was only made to go in front of the word man, girl, and dog, right? Because these are the movies that they were made for. I mean, I know it's probably in its original Latin state. It probably does mean. It was probably better used back in the day. But we're out of the togas now. And now it really just fits it feels like for young people in like American reality shows.
Super necessary?
Awful. Super necessary makes me sick. Like, could you imagine Kennedy, you know, ask not what your super country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your super country. You know, imagine he goes, but he has to do, he's giving us Aeschylus. And he's quoting great Greek and poets and stuff. And then now we're saying, I'm super excited about the opening of the factory. Super duper. Again, congratulations. What'll I get you for your 13th birthday? Super trooper. Thank you, Abba. All right. So anyway, that's my thing. I'll leave it there. We'll move on. Docious. I do like that one, but again, that's fine because we're all 7 enjoying that, are we? Just unbecoming of an adult. Sorry. Anyway, move on. Caroline, have you read The Correspondent? No. Took me by surprise and I recommend it. Caroline, it failed the bookshop test. And just to let you know what the bookshop test is for me, I will go in and it's a very nice feeling, very liberating feeling when I don't have another book to read at the time necessarily. I'll always have a TBR list, but let's say at that point. And then I go in and I will pick books up at leisure. It's a really nice feeling. That's after I've adjusted some books that have been left badly put back in a pile. But that's between me and my, obviously, head. Now, what I'm saying to you is that I can pick up a book and I will read a paragraph of it and go, I'm in love. Or I can pick up a book and say, I'm never going to read this. It's awful. So with The Correspondent, I'm afraid it didn't pass the bookshop test because it's written in emails and letter and all emails, and it just wasn't for me. That's all. Arnie's in Ennis, County Clare. Love Clare, County Clare. Love all Clares. It's great. Hey, another one who has such an unintelligible handle that all I'd say is hello from Mullingar. That's great. Well, how would you read that name?
Their training and development.
Oh, well done. Oh, you'd be very good at Only Connect. You know the missing vowels round, which I do love. Lear Training and Development. Hello from Mullingar. My apologies. Sorry, I couldn't get there. Smetanko Knitwear. Am I saying that right? It's a very strange. It sounds like a kind of like an industrial Russian complex of knitwear production. Smetanko Knitwear. We'll have jumper for you. But you're in Limerick. Hello, everybody. And you can slag me. I'm wearing a shacket, for God's sake. I was saying I don't know what I was doing today. I was all over the shop trying to. Hang on. Yeah, a shacket is a half jacket, half jacket, half. What is it? Half jacket, half shirt. That's what it is. Yeah. Elsewhere, Jamie is in Northamptonshire. Hello, and Anya's in Italy. Benvenuti. Is that what you say? Ciao, Bella. And Instant Octans in Salt Hill, where you will go. Hello, it's Anna. Anna. Last time I was in Salt Hill, you go on the prom, you get an ice cream. That's all I'll say on that one. And the Soggy Southeast, Mary. Hello, Mary. Yeah, it's wet out there. Yeah, I got a little run in this morning down the East Pier in Dunleary, and the monsoon. It's like the heavens just went emptied out. Yeah, it was like kind of vomited rain, but it was, you know the way, it wasn't like a consistent. It was just a vomit, and the people were running for the bandstand, and I said, bandstand and interrupt, or just keep going and just let the gods do what they've got to do. So I let the gods do what they want to do. Free shower. Kathleen Bonner's in beautiful Donegal. Oh, it was great. I was in the pub in London the other night, and this couple were there. She was from Galway. He was from around there, and he said, I said, where are you from? He said, can you not guess? And I went, oh, God. And it was the whole north of Ireland and thereabouts that I had to deal with. And I was going, I said, I'm going to say Donegal. And he shook his hand out. And he said, Donegal. All right. Now, Sean Oak, there's a pal of mine. If it's the same shop, drinks in the same pub, where we are talking, of course, of the Devonshire in Soho, in Piccadilly. Officially starting the campaign to make Bookbot a recurring character. Bookbot has an agent now. In the last 17 minutes, immediately got on to the agency and said, sign me up, post haste, because he has access to Latin. Because he's kind of like AI Bookbot, but so you better be careful. Kathleen says you are super right. All right, I'm out. I'm done with this podcast. Stupid podcast. You're super right. All right, Ryan, have you ever read David Johnson's books? Mary, I haven't. Magical. Upon reading, you're instantly living the surroundings. Check him out. He's an American writer. And you're probably going, what is he doing? I'm taking a note of what you're suggesting, because otherwise I'll forget. You're suggesting David Johnson. Okay, I picked out the books that I've read this January. I actually read 5 books this month. Can you believe that? And that's a lot. And 3 of them haven't been published yet. One of them was The Director I mentioned last week, and one was The Chemist. And then Edel Coffey's brilliant new book, Liz Newton's brilliant new book, and Neil Jordan, movie director, has written his first ever science fiction book, which I finished this morning. The like of which do you know who's going to love that one? Bookbot. Because it's all about the future. Like, it's great. Bookbot, he's probably read it. Probably wrote it. Anyway, let's move on to our friend in Bogwood. How are you, my friend? Sawyer Suetonius. Tom Holland did a new translation, Ryan. Hadn't been done since the 50s or something. There was still some stuff missing. Intriguing. Anyhow, Master and Commander, you got to read those books. and get Russell Crowe to read them to you. Right, imagine I'd call Russell. Russell, do me a favor and lash in a few episodes of Master and Commander in a voice note so I can go to sleep. Could you imagine? Brilliant, great. I've never read those books, that series of books of the high seas, and I'm now about to tell you 3 books. Let's do that. I'm going to recommend 3 books from this to do with the sea and daring do and the old ways. It's largely because of David Grann's The Wager, but I'm going to park that for a second and give you 3 different ones. I'll start with I'll start with that. This is The Wager by David Grann. It's one of my favourite books of the last few years. Now, you'll know David Grann in a minute when I point out the other books that he's written. This has been described brilliantly by somebody else as Robinson Crusoe meets Lord of the Flies. There's mutiny, there's politics, there's a court case. It is written so well. This guy used to write for the New York Times and things like that. So he's got that journalistic sense of history. So there's lovely pace to it. And it's not that long, which is great. This is, you don't have to love history or the sea. You just need to love a good story. Go for it. This one, I forgot about this. I saw it today when I was going through my shelves. Madhouse at the End of the Earth. And I remember interviewing him about this. The reason I love this, it was one of the best book covers I've ever seen. I just think it's so mysterious and it's amazing. But it's kind of like the Shackleton Expedition. It's a guy gets the money together. These are all, by the way, history books. There's no fiction here. And he gets the money together for an expedition and they go off. And they all go quietly and sometimes not so quietly mad. And they have to eat the penguins and the polar bears and whatever they get their hands on. And they have to try and survive at the end of the earth. This is a beautifully written study of the mind under pressure and the madness that goes with it. Beautiful book. Finally, for now, let me recommend this one, which is an Irish history by Des Eakin. One of my all-time favourite Irish history books. All-time favourites, bar none. And this is called The Stolen Village. Again, beautiful cover, but this is a fascinating look at the Barbary pirates who came to Baltimore in West Cork. And essentially, they went in overnight and they took all the inhabitants on the village, lashed them onto the boats, took them away, and sold them into slavery in Africa. So reverse of the Zorg, which I mentioned also earlier on in last year, which I recommended. So this is, get this, if you have a friend in your life who is a bit interested in history, or if you haven't read a history book for ages because you found it so boring, this is your gateway back in. You're going to love this. And then you can go to Baltimore and you can go to West Cork and you can see the history as it is now. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. So, and I don't say it lightly, lads. You know the way. I wouldn't sell you a pup. So there are my 3 nautical but nice recommendations for you today. On David Grann, the man I mentioned a bit earlier on the subject of The Wager, he also wrote, and then you're going to go, oh, The Killers of the Flower Moon. So, yeah, exactly. You just did it. I love it. So that's the Martin Scorsese film. Now, the Scorsese film with Leonardo DiCaprio is the Killers of the Flower Snooze. It's boring. No, it is. I thought they made it was just too slow. It was too long. Again, the editor was obviously given early doors because it should have been chopped up and shortened. Book's better. Book's great. Really interesting period in history and how they treated the Native Americans and the whole lot. Really, really good. He also wrote one, and this is great fun. Now, it's not as good as the others, but I really did enjoy it, called The Lost City of Z, or Z as it would be in America, and it's just about a guy who was obsessed with, who felt that there was a city in the jungle that no one knew about, and it's the quest to find that in the Amazon. I loved it. I just love an old swashbuckling tale of sorts, but he writes so well. So there's some good recommendations for you, lads and ladies, for the next few weeks when you're out shopping in hopefully your local bookshop. If you can do that, that would be brilliant. Right, more comments as we are here. Love The Stolen Village, says text from Grace. I picked it up in a tourist shop in Goleen. Where's Goleen? Goleen. Where is Goleen? Where is she now? Where is she? Where is it? Oh, sorry, no. I love that you picked it up. It's in Cork. Thank you. Well, that's appropriate because it's all about Cork, so that's great. Kira says hello from Sydney, Australia. Kira, are you one of the millennials out in Sydney, Australia? A lot of my daughter's friends are in Sydney and are in Australia having the time of their life, so I hope you're having fun. have you ever thought of running the Chicago Marathon? No, never thought of running any marathon. The only marathon I'll ever have in my life is probably the bar of chocolate. Is it still called that? It's just Snickers now, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, Snickers, yeah. Just changed to the last 30 years there, Grandad. But no, I have no desire to run a marathon. And what I love about doing my little runs, which are between 5 and 7K, is that I get a lot of messages from people on Instagram going, oh, they make a face. And then I go, well, if you're doing it, I'm definitely going to give it a go. So that's fine. Give it a go. But I won't do a marathon. Yet. Orla says, love Tom Holland. His books about the Roman Empire, amazing. Well, Tom Holland, of course, is the rest is history. And he's a wonderful man. And we are due to be meeting up for a pint in February, next month. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him very much. Dave says, sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Oh, why don't I retake it from the top, Dave? And no, that's mean. Sorry, you can listen back to it later. But we had great fun about books. And you missed Bookbot. He missed Bookbot. You've got to bring Bookbot back. Yeah, or maybe he.
People think Bookbot is feeding you the comments. They're wondering how you can see them. I think Bookbot is.
Who do you think is feeding me? It's Bookbot. Bookbot knows exactly what to say. He knows. And we've already done 17% of the show. Thank you, Bookbot. Anyway, Dave, yeah, I hope you're well. And thanks for being with us today. Hello from Cavan. Now, my uncle David married a woman from Cavan who I met last week with my mother, Annette Cusack. So you know the Cusacks, right? And Barry James Duff. That's my Cavan connection. And Stephen is my Cavan connection. And Elizabeth Larraghy is in my Cavan connection. And my auntie Annette is a sister of Pete Burkett, who is in the Boomtown Rats. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You done Who Did They Think You Are?
Yeah. I did Who Did. No, that didn't come up. They didn't go down the rock and roll route. They did that thing where they found my two granddads, one fighting on the west of Ireland with a rusty gun in the pocket, shooting up, and the other shooting in O'Connell Street. Yeah, so there was like pure Dub and pure Connemara, and then their respective sons and daughters, my mum and dad. So that's quite interesting. And then they brought me to the College of Heraldry and said, and they brought this big book and white gloves, and they opened every page. We open this page, and you see this is one on your father's side, and he went off and joined the army. So what? Which army? And here's another one, and then they married this family. I said, why is there so many colours? Why am I seeing lions and tigers and bears? Oh my! What is all this? It's getting brighter and bigger. And the book's got more and more outlandish. And this, we followed all the way here, and this makes you clearly a relative of King Edward III. I said, you must be joking. I mean, hang on, we were just shooting up bang bang in the Civil War, and now you're... Anyway, the crew that day, as soon as we got out of the place, just fell over laughing. They were saying, oh, the Republican, yeah, good luck with that. Now, where else do I want to go?
Super awkward.
Super awkward? No! Dave, sorry you missed this. I was giving out about Super. I'm not a big fan of Super in front of words. I just don't like it. Unless it's the film with Christopher Reeve. I'm not that interested. Carla, I saw you on the tube yesterday. How was your trip? What? Where? Why didn't you say hello? That's crazy. I missed a few of those. I'll come back to you. On the tube. If you see me on the tube, if you see me sitting on the tube, do say hello, because a lot of people do, and they'll nod and smile or whatever, but always say hello. I had a great trip. It was a very, very short trip. I went over on Sunday, and I met some pals and family, and then the next day I had a big meeting, and that went really well, and then I got home, and I watched... No, that brings me neatly, actually. This is lovely segueing all around. Do you know who'd love a good segue like that? Bookbot. It's very neat. So the point of the story is that I watched, what's it called? What's that thing called? 1975? Breakdown, 1975. This, now, because you know the way you're just sitting there doom scrolling through Netflix. I do it all the time. What do I watch? I don't want to watch that. Anyway, I've got some seriously good recommendations for you today, lads. It cuts out all the messing. One, this documentary, which I was kind of half looking at. You know that way. Will I bother? There's something else that I'm going to watch that stars somebody from 15 years ago. That'll be okay. It'll be a solid 6.5 out of 10, which isn't solid at anything. Anyway, Breakdown looks at the year 1975. America's fallen apart at the seams. I mean, you look at it today, and you look at that horrible situation in Minnesota and all the rest of it. You look at it then, it wasn't much better, to be honest with you. It was quite mad, and computers were just coming in. This very young Bill Gates. And they're saying, some people think that computers might take over. And obviously, on it goes. But the whole thing is done through the prism of movies. So really, it's the language of the movie. If you look up movies from 1975 on IMDb or wherever you get your thing, the amount of films and Gene Hackman and De Niro and Pacino. I was taking notes going, I got to watch that. I got to watch The Godfather 2. It goes on and on. Dog Day Afternoon, Taxi Driver, and it's just a great documentary. If you like your movies, you like your politics, you like your history, that's the one. Breakdown 1975. Do you know what the other beautiful thing about it is? For the restless mind, 90 minutes. And boom. Okay, Orla Hobbs says, I love Tom Holland, his books. Oh yes, we've got that. Yeah, good. Mark from Scarborough. Mark, how are you, my friend? The Terror, the book and the series, the amount of historical detail about a real voyage with a touch of the spooky. Yeah, that was a great television show for sure. I love that. Sydney girl, Kira, I'm 21 and life has never been so good. Apart from the Coogee lifeguards. Coogee.
Sorry, Coogee.
Coogee. What is that?
It's a place in Sydney.
Oh,
Yeah,
Coogee.
She's the girl who messaged earlier and you said, are you a young person? That's her.
Thank you, Aidan. Apart from the could you be loved? Coogee lifeguards saving my life on Sunday. Kieran, like if I was your dad, my nerves would be gone hearing that. But he's not here, and you're okay. That's okay. Well done, Coogee lifeguards. Another Irish person. I know it's Irish because it's Irish_G75. Hi from Graham. Oh, sorry. You actually give me your name as well. I love that. In Essen, in Germany, from North Cork originally. Well, how are you getting on in Essen? Tell us what you're doing there for a living, if you don't mind. I'm just curious. And Bernie's in Sligo. Love Sligo. Osties. Do you ever go to Osties in Sligo for a pint? It's very, very nice. It's very nice. Great surfing. Aidan, are you surfing, dude? You give surfing.
Is it Rosnowla?
Rosnowla is up. Is that further up? Anyway, here we are, all the dubs gathered today. But either way, Sligo's beautiful. Marilyn says, I'm close to Cavan. I know of the Cusacks, and you're talking like a real Cavan person. Yeah, I'm doing that thing. You know so-and-so and so-and-so is married to so-and-so. Yeah, that's it. That's just the Irish thing. Have you read Linwood Barclay? No, I haven't. A Canadian thriller writer. Would recommend. Elevator pitch. Got me hooked, says Sarah from Portland, Maine. We've got a very big international audience today, which is really lovely, and you're all so welcome. Sarah, thank you. I'm going to write that down. Oh, sorry, I'm writing your name down. That's a bit stupid. I'm writing a Linwood Barclay. That just got weird. Super creepy. Sarah Barclay. No, you're not Sarah Barclay. Linwood Barclay. Now, completely befuddled. Now, 3 nautical adventures done. Now, somebody said something really interesting on. It's not that interesting, but it was kind of funny on Instagram the other day. Was please stop doing this thing and it's actually people who should know better because they're on Instagram a lot, where they're showing the book, but it's mirrored because they haven't flipped it. Yeah, and so they were saying, please tell people to. There's a thing on Instagram that you can, like, here am I giving you lessons. Just flip it. It's easier. I just want to get that out of the way, which is important too. And elsewhere. King Tubs the First, yeah, that's what it was. We went back to Edward III, and they agreed I was King Tubs the First as a result. Now, Saipan. Let me talk about Saipan. And it's funny talking to younger people, and I mean Gen Z and into millennials. They saw the film title Saipan. They didn't know how to say it. Some of them, because why would you if you hadn't been there and you weren't aware of it? It looks like Saipan, or it doesn't. You wouldn't know what it is necessarily. So we don't need to recap. I'll recap very briefly because I was there. We were all there, not in Saipan, but we were in Ireland at the time. And the Irish... sorry, Tom, what am I talking about? Dragging you into our old age club here. Tom's going, yeah, I was in the nursery in Vincent. Not Vincent, you were hardly in Vincent. You were in Hollis Street. Where were you born, Tom? What part of the country?
Essex.
Where?
Essex.
Oh, when I said country, I meant this country.
Yeah, no.
You were born in Essex? Where are you? You're an Essex boy. Hello, yay! Quick, let's get Denise Vanny out in here and have a chat. So and then when did you move over here?
Was it 4 or something?
Oh, that explains your thick Essex accent. which he does not have. All right, Saipan. Ireland qualified for the World Cup 2002. Am I right, Aidan? You're Johnny Sports, and we were going to go to Japan for the World Cup. Okay, Roy Keane's in there. Mick McCarthy's the Irish coach at the time. He, having played in Italian 90 and all the rest, he was a legend in his own right. And they didn't really get on very well. And then they get to Saipan, which is where they were going to be training, and it's a mess. They make a film of it that's in cinemas now, and it stars Éanna Hardwicke, who I'm always talking about because he's one of my favourite actors of this generation. As he plays Roy Keane, my God, is he good. He's better than good. It's an immaculate impersonation, I have to say. Steve Coogan plays Mick McCarthy. It's quite hard to departragify Coogan, but you do. Eventually you get into it, and he does a great job. That's just one of the curses of being brilliant. That's on me, not on him. And then there's great cast. Peter MacDonald's in there, and Alex Murphy's in there. There's great cast surrounding them, and it's a straight shoot. This is what happened, and this is how it goes. Initially, I was watching, I was going, okay, this is great, but it just seems like the FAI are like panto villains. It's kind of a bit weird. Did you see it, Tommy? No, but okay, so you're just going to hope it picks up. They use archive brilliantly. And then it gets better as it goes along, funny enough. And strangely, by the end, it gets sad. Because initially it's kind of played for laughs. And then you go, oh yeah, like that. Actually, they were representing Ireland. And that's us. And we did really well. Like we got through to the final 16 and we got to Spain. We got to penalties with Spain. Like, yeah, heartbreaking. And then it was all the what if. What if Shea, if had the ball, Roy Keane had stayed. And then it was a civil war in Ireland. People said they were either Mick McCarthy or your Team Roy, and that's what it was. So it's very good. It's more than very good. It's an excellent film. I loved it. I'd highly recommend it. It's like reeling in the Saipans. You know, it had that feel to it. But
The archive's meant to be incredible.
Archive's great.
Yeah. You're in it, eh?
And there's I forgot Aidan's. I'm sorry. How can we? Aidan has a very lengthy cameo, which happened. I blinked and now I missed it now. And like, what is that digit you are lifting? And suffice to say, Saipan gets a win. Aidan says, I loved hearing Jerry Ryan's voice. They used a lot of clips of Jerry Ryan to talking because they were trying to get the sense of the national conversation at the time. So there was a lot of Jerry, and it was really lovely too. I agree with you. Somebody else really enjoyed Saipan. Well acted, funny in parts. I loved how the real footage of the time was scattered throughout, and it took me back. Yeah, it's full of that, which is really nice. Greetings from the Peak District. Never been to the Peak District or the Lake District, so I'd like to try a bit of both. And another, our friends say that The Life of Pi, book not movie, Jan Martellia, great read. Thank you, Francis. And I did see the movie and I quite liked it. Our book club just finished the book club for troublesome women. Well, that's it. Here's a title. Really good read and great discussions afterwards. Good. I was doing a book club in London last week for the news building, and then somebody peeled off from that group and said, can you join our book club for 1 week? And I said, yeah. They said, will you pick the book? I said, yeah. So I'll be doing that in mid-February. So the book I gave them was The Book of Guilt by Catherine Chigley, and because it's just brilliant. I think it'd be a really good book. If you like, I keep saying this, but if you like Ishiguro, Never Let Me Go. Gotcha. All right, I just want to say thank you for everything. I always have a good laugh. That's it? Okay, hey, Mum, I'll see you after the show, Mum. I mean, it's great. Thank you for everything. I also want to mention, what else do I want to mention? Oh, yeah. How are we doing for time? Oh, okay. We'll wrap up soon enough. We have, there's a show I found on Netflix by accident, and it is called Accused. Now, exactly. No, Seven Dials. I've got to talk about that. So we're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the good. Accused, not the accused, accused. Write it down. Now, this I'd never heard of. Now, some of you are probably saying, "Yeah, it's been out for years." It was out. It's about 2014. Is it? It's that old? It's old, but it's a series of dramas that each one is standalone, which I love. And in it, they explore a fictitious court case, and they play out the drama of the crime, and it's interspersed throughout the show of the accused taking his or her place in the dock, of the people who've populated that particular episode, the characters, all taking their place in the area that the people in court can go and see what's happening, spectators area. And then it gets to the end, which is the verdict. It is spectacular. The first one stars Stephen Graham and Sean Bean. Sean Bean playing essentially a drag person. It is fascinating, very unlikely casting, but it's so good. It's Jimmy McGovern, the writer. Cracker, Jimmy McGovern. Yeah. That's why it's so good. Thank you. It is like some of the best I've ever seen. The next episode starred Olivia Colman, who's rarely bad, Anne-Marie Duff, who's always excellent, and a few others that you'll recognise in it. and it's powerful. So it's very it's intense. So don't watch it if you're looking for a laugh. Don't watch it if you're just chilling out and going. It's a nice evening. If you want really powerful, smart, well-written, gritty Cracker, that's a brilliant reference point. Cracker, the Robbie Coltrane drama. This is the one. It's called Accused. And somebody smart in Netflix said, drag that out, dust it down, and put it up. Because I'd never heard of it the first time around. And honestly, if we're back here next week and you haven't watched one, and or if you have watched one, you'll come back next week and you'll say, God, that was brilliant. I loved it. I've never seen anything that's so good. Netflix. Yeah. Now, I'm sorry, but they hit a dud on Netflix as well. And I've got to be fair in my analysis in of these things. And by fair in my analysis, by the way, don't get me wrong. You might say, that's your man's talking through his hat. I get that. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. All right, that's the score. And anyway, what's he talking about the bookshop? These aren't books. I know. I've no excuse. The bookshelf is. But anyway, thanks for being here. And Netflix, yeah. So I watched the 7. I'm an Agatha Christie fan. I like Marple, and I like Poirot, and I like the books. I think they're very easy and sweet, and even the murder is kind of it's done with doilies, isn't it? Death by doily, but I like it a lot. And any road, there you have the 7 Dials. And they've just got a new young cast, but not so young. Helena Bonham Carter's in it. Martin Freeman is in it. They're great actors. And there's a young woman in it who's very good. She's going to be playing Barry Keoghan's wife in the Beatles quartet films. Maureen Starr, Ringo's wife. So that's where you'll see her next. 7 Dials. I was really excited about it. It's 3 episodes. It needed to be 1 episode. The rest is fill. And the acting is, I'm afraid, it's a mixed bag. Storyline is preposterous, and that's saying a lot for Agatha Christie. So, I'm afraid I can't give 7 Dials the love. It's a shame. Nearly got it right. The last episode, it does pick up. There's resolution and it's good, but for some reason, it's just that plane did not leave the runway, and it's a pity. So, just trying to. Did you watch it, Tom? No. Well, save yourself 3 episodes of. So, are you guys watching anything at the moment you'd like to share?
I'm watching a recommendation of yours, Land of Sin.
Land of Sin. Land of Sin. So you're gone to Scandinavia. Okay, for you. It's only 5 episodes. It's okay.
I'm enjoying it.
You're enjoying it.
It's grim and it's gritty.
It's grim and gritty. Yeah, I know. That's what my heart looks like.
When you people in January.
Yeah, it mightn't be the January. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay, great. Elsewhere, Accused is fab. Yes, it sure is. The Rip is also good. Chewing gum for the brain. The Rip looks so stupid. I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
No.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, amazing.
You loved it, did you?
I don't want to ruin it for anyone. Just go with it.
Do you know what? I think what he's trying to say is loosen up and enjoy the mess and the bubble gum. Okay, fair enough. It can't always be gritty Jimmy McGovern. No, but you're right. That's why I have Family Guy. I love Family Guy. If I watch the heavy stuff, I'll put on Family Guy. You know the cutaways from Family Guy, like, here, that's nearly the time that and they go bump, and it's like the Wizard of Oz. And then you want a heart? There's your heart. And he bangs it into the Tin Man. It's this beating bit of flesh. Anyway, sorry, that was it. Mary, Jessie Buckley nominated for Best Actor. Paul Mescal for Best Supporting Actor. Ryan heading to see Hamlet tomorrow. Well, Paul didn't get the Oscar nomination, but he's still, I think he's in the BAFTA tread. So good luck with Hamlet. I think you'll enjoy it. One top book for January. I'm going to go for The Director. That was the one that I loved. I'm still talking about and recommended to everybody. Jackie says, what a wicked day. Sitting in my car in Nice watching you. Well, now don't get arrested. Knocking on the window. Hello, Jackie. Yeah, what are you doing? I'm watching your man. What? I need this every day, any chance. Well, you want us to come in here every day for an hour? There's only someone. Just watch Netflix and report back. Do you know who would help me? Do you know who would watch Netflix with me and report back? He'd be great. Bookbot. He'd be brilliant. He'd have every episode of everything assimilated in the blink of a robotic eye. He'd be great. What would Bookbot like? He'd like iRobot. What else is on it? Oh, we got him all his favourites. Elsewhere, Sinead says, we really enjoyed Steel on Prime. On Prime, right. Watch the 6 episodes straight through. It's a weird thing. I signed off Prime because there was nothing on it. And since then, everything I'm recommended to watch is on Prime. So is that the rule? When you sign off something, the good stuff comes on it?
What I've noticed now is that
Yeah.
you can can only rent shows or movies.
You can only rent shows and movies on stuff. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's a great point. That's a great point. So you just when you thought you'd paid your thing for the subscription, now they're saying, oh yeah, that film's here for another fee of $4.99. That's very cheeky. That's very cheeky.
Booking a flight. Oh, I have to pay for the seat too. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there is a bit of that too. Yeah. What? Oh yeah, I was reading a piece in a magazine yesterday on Sunday, flying over to London, and the air steward said to me, "Do you do Airfix?" I said, "What? I no." The piece was about Airfix. Do you know what Airfix is? It's okay. So Airfix is when you're okay. So this guy called Adolf Hitler, right? He invaded a lot of countries. Not a nice guy, bad egg, and they had these planes. No. So what happened was, for some reason, when we were kids, they had all these boxes of plastic models that you had to take them off and with a bit of glue, and then you could paint them and make a plastic airplane and a model airplane. Airfix. You go to Nimblefingers, would be my local shop to get them in. And if you had the patience, I'd say I lasted about 1.5 seconds with an Airfix. But people who were into it were really good at it, and that's what it is. So you made these planes. So Airfix. So this guy is quite meditative. It's kind of like, it was like jigsaws for smarter people with steadier hands than me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now you have it. Yeah. It was so anything would end up in Black Puss's window, like, and so I was reading this article, and this guy was telling me he's really into Airfix at the Air Steward. Anyway, so we had a big full conversation about it on Aer Lingus Air Steward, and then just as we were about to take off, you hear I put it up on it. The guy says, "Welcome everybody. This is your captain speaking. My name's Captain Cillian Murphy." I was like, "What? What are you to Captain Cillian Murphy?" Of course, if you've seen Red Eye, the film, he's psychotic. Is he here too? Anyway, back to the messages. Super duper super trooper show. Get out of here. And Paula, the rip was not my speed at all. See what she did there with the capital letters? ATALL. At all. She's shouting at us. Steel on Prime is super. Stop saying super. No, she's saying super January watch. I'm going to give you super on that one. Super January watch as opposed to super exciting film. That's where it really drives me kind of a bit mad. Josh says, currently reading the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. Would highly recommend to anyone who enjoys Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. I'll throw this one to you, Tom. That's good, okay. I never read a Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. Did you know? Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No.
I watched every single episode of every single season. Do you know why? Because I kept interviewing people from the bloody thing and then I hadn't seen them. And I wanted to have a context. Because they go, next week, who's on? Your man from Game of Thrones. Oh, and then I said, I'm going to watch the whole thing. And I watched it. I actually really enjoyed it. I liked it. A lot of dragons and a lot of shenanigans. Right? All right. Do you know the guys that write this stuff, though? They're like, oh, yeah, then the dragon's going to do your man. And, you know, like Gene Roddenberry is the same. Anyway, that's for another conversation. That's pints. Now, elsewhere, before we say goodbye, I wanted to mention... should I mention the live show? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the Bookshelf live. That is our good news story for you today. We are going to go to a local theatre to me, but it mightn't be to you, but it's just... We just want to kind of check it out and see. It's a lovely theatre, a lovely size, nothing too much. We're going to have a couple of guests who will join us on the night. And it'll be obviously not quite like this, but we'll have the guests. We'll have the Bookshelf will be coming up. So we're going to do this on Friday, the 27th of March. So all you need to remember is a couple of details. One is it's the last Friday in March. We'll start around 7ish so that we get in and out early. So none of this. We'll get home by midnight. You get home for an episode of Family Guy. Pavilion Theatre in Dublin. It's lovely, lovely venue. And by the time we get to that point in March, you could get there early and have a couple of pints by the sea. And then come into the show. It'll be really nice. Anyway, tickets on sale this Friday. Today it's Tuesday. Friday at 10 a.m. So where do you need to go? It's not Ticketmaster, none of those things. Paviliontheatre.ie. That's it. Paviliontheatre.ie. We'll announce the guests in due course. Very excited about it. And we'd love to see you there. So get yourself some tickets and we will have fun on the... You'll be there, lads. I presume you better be there. Oh, don't groan. Hayden, I'm super excited to be there. Okay, that's the Bookshelf Live, our first ever one. Let's see how it goes, then we'll see if we might do a little more touring around the country, which would be quite nice too. Another message. Not sure I ever heard your review of Sopranos. We're on our second run of it. Absolute masterpiece. I'm going to see Michael Imperioli and Steve Shiriola in Belfast next month. talking about Sopranos. I saw that they're doing that gig. Okay, Sopranos. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 shows that I can watch over and over again with the passage of time because they're just so good. One is The Sopranos. I don't need to go on about it. The cast, the writing, the music, the cleverness, the darkness. It is masterpiece. 2, Band of Brothers. Timeless history. You'll see all these actors you now know that you didn't know then necessarily. Filmed in Ireland. That's by the by. It tells the story of World War II in a way that you probably will never see it again. Watch it with your kids if you want to. It's just so engaging and so beautiful if you can have such a thing about something so sad. Band of Brothers. And 3, and finally, West Wing is so funny and so smart. And you watch West Wing today in 2025. It's aging badly, but that's okay. We all are. But if you watch West Wing in 2025 and then turn on CNN, honestly, it's like watching Fantasy Island and something from a horror film. West Wing, Aaron Sorkin. It's like 40 screwball comedy laced with a serious theme with every episode. Acting, right, A-list and a class, just a class apart from anything else you've ever seen. So they are the 3. You won't go wrong with any of those. Good luck with those. Okay, that's it for today, I think. Is that right, Aidan? Do you want to throw in anything there before we say goodbye? You can get in touch on Instagram if you feel that there's something we have missed or if you'd like to ask us to talk about something. I'll be kind of doing a bit more London coming and going, so I'm not sure how long we can keep going with our Tuesday lunchtime lives, but we'll do another one next week. I think we'll be okay with that, and then we might have to abandon ship, but we'll keep you posted. Sinead says, I have the words "what next" tattooed on my right hand. Okay, that's great. All right. You know what that is? That's a reference to, of course, West Wing, President Martin Sheen. We talked about him last week. And he begins, whenever the catastrophe, it's a brilliant thing, what next? And whenever the mess that he was in was kind of coming to an end, or he said, that's the end of it. Stop going on about it. What's next? It's a good credo to have in life. Tom, thank you. Aidan, thank you. Friends, good luck with the rest of your day. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.